All right, welcome everybody. We are 7 o'clock. We've got our game faces on, and I just wanted to thank you so much for joining. We know this time of year is extremely busy for a lot of us, and Trina and I are just so grateful that you are spending your evening with us. So today we are talking about how to get your energy and your focus back on track. After the New Year's, after the holidays, hopefully we had some really nice rest time. And I know at this time of the year that a lot of us can get really tempted to do crazy things with our eating. And we want to make sure that we are coming into this sensibly, intelligently, with a game plan so that you can go out and do amazing things with your 2018, but know that we've got your back. So I am really excited to partner with Trena Hough of the Pulp Fresh Bar in Stratford, which is one of my absolute favorite restaurants, Stratford's only vegetarian restaurant in Stratford. And we're really excited to have you today.
Can everyone hear us? I just want to make sure that everyone can hear and see our slides.
Maybe just if someone can type in the chat box if you can hear us. Oh, we've got one yes here.
Oh, good, good.
So everyone, just to orient you to what we're doing in Zoom, if this is the first time that you are playing in Zoom with us, on the bottom of your screen should be a black bar about the bottom centimeter, and you should all be muted. You shouldn't have video, so you can be wearing your pajamas and no one will know, don't worry. And you should have access to a chat box if you have any questions. Perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa. If you have any questions or comments, there's also room there to answer our questions. Yes, no, go slower, go faster. If there's anything else that we need to know as we're doing this. So thank you so much for your feedback so far. So we just wanted to let you know that tonight you are in the right place. If you feel like you've gotten a little bit off track during the holidays and you want a bit of a nudge or a kickstart in the right direction, you're in the right place. If you're feeling a little bit sluggish, dull, bloated, like you want to shake things up and are looking for a reset, and you are definitely in the right place if you're typically skeptical of detoxes. I know I certainly am. We try to be open-minded, but most things I do get a little sketched out on, so you're in the right place if that is you as well. And you're in the right places if you're not one of the typical New Year's resolutioners that wants to change everything January 1st, and you're actually looking for real change, not just to peter out in February, but to go strong throughout the year because you've got stuff to do. So tonight is not for you, and you should probably just turn off your computer screen if you're not interested in improving your energy, losing your weight, or having your clothing fit better. You can probably save your time if you're a complete expert in the kitchen, you eat well all of the time, and there's no room to improve. Or if you believe everything you hear on TV and read online about health and are so busy doing it all that you don't have time to do any of it. And you're definitely not in the right place if you don't think that eating well can affect how you feel or can contribute to your health, because we believe that it does.
It does.
It does. Thanks for that, Trena. So tonight, what we are going to be focusing on are simple at-home tweaks to reduce bloat and eating on the run. And what Trena is going to talk about is, what are we going to talk about, Trena?
I'm going to be going through some easy tips and tricks that you can do at home to get yourself organized, stay on track while eating right during a busy week, and just some little things about how you can succeed.
Excellent. And Trena's really the expert in this area. She's got such a cool, easy to use system that I'm excited for her to share with all of you. I will be talking a little bit about the difference between a cleanse and a detox and a reset, why you might want to consider one as part of your health strategy for the new year or at any other time, and what you want to be looking out for. And we're going to be talking about the benefits of a reset after hopefully thoroughly enjoying your holidays. And lastly, if you stay to the end, we're going to be talking a little bit more about how to get started safely, deliciously, with some programs that we are really excited to share with you. So As a thank you for attending and spending your precious time with us, we are going to be emailing everybody that's listening live or is listening to our recording later on a free starter detox guide, which is really simple, to the point. Anyone can use this. I recommend that you print out the PDF and you stick it to your fridge so that you can keep these things in mind, whether or not you decide to jump in on one of our wonderful programs, or your current client, or are just curious. So that will be emailed to all of you at some point tomorrow. So first things first, we want you to stay to the very end. Our goal is absolutely to give you as much information as we can while we are here tonight, but we're going to be making a special offer available only to you that are on the call or listening to the recording, and a very special promotion. So if you're listening live, you will definitely be rewarded for your time. So before we jump into all of that, who are we and what are we doing? I am seeing a couple of my wonderful clients on the call here. Welcome. Thank you for spending your time. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Keila Roesner, and I'm a naturopathic doctor here in beautiful Stratford, Ontario. And I'm a health ninja. I love working with busy, stressed out people with hormone imbalances, stubborn digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome, insomnia, people that have got a lot going on and can't afford to not be well. In my spare time, I love climbing mountains and backpacking and exploring the world with my husband, Ben, who you can see in the bottom corner here. Definitely a cat person, and I am a recovering type A perfectionist. And I work out of the Space Within. We are right downtown Stratford, where I see clients throughout the week, and our focus is always on optimizing performance so you can feel like a total badass day in, day out. You can work hard and play even harder. And Trena, tell us about you.
Yes, so if you guys don't know me, my name is Trena Hough, and I'm the co-owner of the Pulp Fresh Bar in Stratford. It is on Downey Street, right next to the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. I own that with my husband, James, and we just had a baby. He is 10 months old, and so it's been crazy trying to, eat right, own a business, be a good mom, be a good wife, be a good friend. But I'm trying to make everything simple, and that's why I've created part of this plan with Keila. And we are Stratford's only vegetarian restaurant, which I didn't really know until we opened our doors. So that's awesome, and we're really proud of it. We do have a lot of vegan, gluten-free options. Our staff is quite knowledgeable. If anyone has food sensitivities or allergies, just come on in, ask our staff. They know what is in everything as we make everything on site.
And honestly, the Pulp is a place I was just delighted to discover back when you opened about May this year. And I can honestly say everything I've had from there is delicious. It's fresh, it's affordable, it's perfect when you forget your lunch and you just need something that is satisfying, but makes you feel even better after you eat it. So that's high praise coming from me. So before we jump into a lot, I just want to ask you all a really quick question. Now that we're coming out of the holidays, what is your favorite go-to treat? So you should be able to click on any of these options here. Oh, we've got chocolate for the win. Just want to see where people tend to gravitate to.
What's yours?
My favorite? You know what? It's not on here, but I am a huge fat lover. If you give me olives or coconut oil or bacon, I'm a huge fat lover, but I can definitely go for some extra dark chocolate. That's kind of my second up. What's yours, Trena?
Gummies.
Gummies.
Gummy candies.
The quick and dirty, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some responses here. It looks like chocolate and chips are kind of in the lead here. That's wonderful.
I love that there's no one for pop.
Yeah, that actually makes my soul really happy.
Good for you guys.
There's nothing really good about pop. Although some San Pellegrino, some sparkling water, if any of you are in the wine category, does a lot to help water things down. Not if you're a true sommelier, but it gives you a little bit of fizz without adding in sugar. Perfect. So thank you for, let me just share our results here. Thank you for humoring us. So, new year, new you. I have seen this so many times on Facebook in the last couple of weeks, and I think Trena and I both wanted to pitch this just kind of as a tongue-in-cheek thing. Honestly, as a health professional, this makes me roll my eyes a little bit because there's so many quick fix thingies that just are expensive and don't really give you the results that you need to do what you are doing in a day, in a week, in your life. But I think there is something to be said for timing and having a start date. So one thing that I wanted to pitch to you guys to think about is thinking about where you are at in your cycle. Now, I'm seeing a lot of women on this call, which is wonderful. And obviously, as women, we have menstrual cycles. We have fertility cycles. We tend to cycle up and down throughout the day, the month, the seasons, the year, the times in our life. But what we may not know from a health perspective is that we have seasons in our health as well. We have seasons outdoors, obviously, and we've been enjoying a particularly cold, chilly winter. And at this time of year, our body needs different things than if it was hot, sunny, sticky, sweaty July. I mean, how many of you agree with that? If you can give me a quick yes in the participant box, or no if you think we're full of it. Perfect. Also, as you guys are listening in, if you need to tell us to go slower or speed up, absolutely, we love feedback. So, for example, I love these two pictures. This lady in the sweater and the tee, I mean, I'm hoping she is at this time of year, as opposed to hot, sweaty July, when she probably has a thyroid problem and is cold, versus this lady drinking her orange juice. Maybe she just had a workout, or maybe she's setting herself up to be very cold if it is July. So where we're at in our life really does matter, where we're at, what time of year. So January, I think, is really cool in that we celebrate it as a start to a new year. Where I think we can get into trouble is with all or nothing resolutions. I'm going to start all of this next week, and if I don't, I'm going to feel bad about myself. Or I'm going to do all these things and get so overwhelmed that you just get cold and hungry and sick and feel dead inside and completely overwhelmed with all the things. And that's ultimately not helpful to anybody. And that's where I usually see my practice full in February with people that have hurt themselves trying to do all the January detox things. So in terms of traditional Chinese medicine, which is a huge part of my training as a naturopathic doctor, there is a yin and a yang to everything. There is balance to all things. So the winter time of year is very yin. It's cold and it's dark. This is the time when, especially on the winter solstice, it's the shortest day of the year. It's the longest night. Conversely, in June, on the summer solstice, it's the longest day of the year and shortest night. That's a very yang time. But this time of year is yin, where naturally we want to curl up. We want to nourish ourselves. We want to play with Hough or Danish, we call it nurturing, where we shut ourselves in and we hang out with our family and we burn the candles and we eat the good, rich, nourishing foods like soups and stews and broths. So really, this is a time to nurture and nourish our body, not force, not push, not overhaul, not do all the extreme stuff, not start to train for a marathon. But that doesn't mean that we should do nothing. If you're eating like crap, overscheduling, going to too many hockey practices, eating on the run, you're sitting too much at your day job, and you're being really too hard on yourself, all these things are very young. And there's a point to them, but they're not serving you either if you're not feeling well. So this doesn't mean that we don't do anything. It means that we need to be very intelligent and mindful of what it is that we do and what our priorities are. So if that makes sense to anyone, can you write a heck yeah or a yes or thank you or something in our chat box so I know what we're all following? Amen. Thanks, Tracy. Wonderful. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Rose. Thanks, Lisa. So before we jump in, one conversation that I had earlier today is my thoughts on holidays. I had a couple clients come in and say, you know what? I was just so bad over the holidays. I ate all the gluten. I ate all the sugar. I drank all the wine. And You know what? I'm actually in support of that. I think from an evolutionary perspective, if we were cavemen and women living back in our caves, and it's an entirely natural thing to have these times of feast where we eat all the things, we eat the thing that we kill, we eat the produce that we gather, we eat all the honeycomb and we pass out because we just ate so much. That's okay. That's totally natural. As long as we also are balancing that with times of maybe fasting or times of eating a little bit cleaner. I think the holidays are a wonderful time to connect, to celebrate, to sleep in, to see more people, to travel, be social. This is all cool. As long as we have that balance. So January in our mindset is not about pushing and doing all the things. It's about resting and unwinding and mindfully choosing how we are going to be nurturing and taking care of ourselves. So, question time. For those of you that are on the call, wonderful. Again, thank you for joining us. What is your biggest health challenge? Got a couple of suggestions in here, but if there's anything else, I'd be happy to hear in the chat box here. So I know for me, being self-employed and having a husband that's self-employed, one of my biggest challenges is getting enough sleep.
Yeah, heard that.
I can't speak for the new mom over here, but having that consistent bedtime and waking time is always something that I've struggled with that is really quite important. So right now, what are we seeing? A lot of lacking time to plan for meals and to cook, and a little bit of knowing what to cook when we actually make the time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couple more votes in here. I'd love to hear from most of you. Digestive issues. Yeah. Keeping active, getting enough sleep, feel a little like hibernating.
Mm-hmm.
Rose, I think that's actually perfect. It's a totally natural thing to want to hibernate and to have that reset time. I think it's actually good for our souls. So if you haven't heard of it before, there's this Danish phenomenon called Hygge, Hygge. I'm going to type that into the chat box because I think it's actually the coolest thing. And Hygge is this concept of all things that are homey and nurturing. And they've done tons of studies on the happiest countries in the world, and Denmark consistently ranks the highest because they have this phenomenon when their country is very yin. It's very long, cold, dark winters where they make this kind of festival of hanging out indoors with small groups of friends and playing games and eating chocolate and buying candles and being warm and have soft furry rugs everywhere. So look up Hygge, everyone. It's pretty cool, and I think it fits exactly within what Rose here is saying. So most people lacking time to plan for meals and cook. Hating to cook. That's another thing too. So hopefully Trena and I can help a little bit with that and offering you some suggestions about how we can make that happen. So Trena, tell us a little bit about how you make that happen. You're the expert here.
Yeah, so I find the best way to have a successful week with eating right and staying on track is to plan it out. Get organized, take 15 minutes, sit down and think about what it is you want to eat for the week. If you're someone who enjoys going out once a week to eat, put that in the planner, whether it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, whatever. Put it in there along with your other meals that you plan on making. And especially if you are busy, you know, like Keila said, you're running to hockey practice, you're picking people up, you don't have time. Also include some meals that you know are easy to make, or you have a prep day and make some of those things beforehand and you just kind of heat them up. But I'm going to get to that a little bit later. So the second thing you can do also is I say go with purpose, but that means to the grocery store.
And in life, I'm down with that too.
So make sure you've planned out your meals, write down what you need from the store and go there and grab it. Don't, peruse through the aisles looking for inspiration, because that's when you're going to grab those, quick frozen things, chips,
the really processed butter chicken.
Yes, exactly. That you really shouldn't be eating. So yes, and also, try to stick to the outside of your grocery store, which I think most people know that. But you do have to venture in because your vinegars and your lentils and beans are all in the aisles. But again, when you go into those aisles, go with purpose. Go get what you need and get out. So the third thing is for the prep day. So it doesn't have to be a Sunday, but I personally enjoy doing it on a Sunday, sometimes a Saturday if I have the time. But for someone who commented here that they hate cooking, do it all in one day. Chop up all your vegetables on a Sunday afternoon, get everything ready that you need, and freeze things. Put everything in, a nice bag, freeze it, take it out, throw it in a crock pot, and you're good to go. Come home from work and you have a nice, stew ready, roast, whatever it is that you like.
It's kind of idiot proof when you plan ahead that way.
Yeah, it just makes things so much easier. You don't come home from work, open the fridge, it's empty, and you go, oh, pizza tonight, right? How many times have we done that? So I have a little weekly planner that I'm going to send out to everyone who is watching today. And it's just something really easy, print it out, jot down what you think you're going to eat. And like I said, make it easy. You don't have to stick to it. If you want to eat your Friday meal because it's, tacos on a Monday, go for it. No one's going to say you can't.
I have something similar like this on my fridge that I've used for over a year. And honestly, it has been such a godsend to be able to say, okay, I've got this, this, and this in my fridge. I can eat these, heat this up, or make a meal so you're not constantly eating out or making more meals when you don't have to. So number 4 or number 3, prep day, just wanted to touch on that. This, I think, is one of the most powerful things that you can do for your health is to cook, or if you can even learn to enjoy cooking. So in my house, my husband, Ben, and I have had what we call Flavor Day for the last 3-4 years. We started when I was in school, and this was so awesome. We'd cook, we would shop, and bust out as many elements of meals like meats or beans or vegetables or salads or chickpea salads and things like that ahead of time, so that when you come home on a Tuesday, it's there and you don't have to think unless you really want to cook. So that's really excellent point, Trena.
Yes. One more thing I wanted to mention, similar to your life, Keila, is we do a slow cooker Sunday. So Jamie, my husband, loves to watch football. So we every Sunday, well, I mean, not every Sunday, but we try.
Until the season's over.
Yeah, exactly. We throw something in the crock pot and it just cooks all day. And, it's kind of like that Hough, is that what it's called?
Hough,
yeah. We just sit, we, eat and cuddle up. It's great. So that's slow cooker Sunday.
So you're making it more of an experience then. So it's something that you look forward to, that downtime, that hibernation with your family. And that's actually a really good point too. If we go back to the season of the year, January is a time when our body is already under some stress. So we don't want to add more digestive stress to our body. So the easiest things to absorb are slow cooked foods, whether that's a slow cooker pot roast, or if you're vegetarian, something in a slow cooker, soups, stews, things that are warmed up a little bit, adding in some ginger or cayenne or cinnamon or black pepper, chai spices, as opposed to raw crunchy salads, which require a little bit more of our digestive energy to break down at this time of year, especially for fighting January. All right.
So some steps for success, just to kind of keep you on track and, go forward in 2018. So you want to be in the right frame of mind for any kind of, habit changing that you plan on doing. So, give yourself that time to, get yourself ready, right? Does that make sense, Keila?
You know what? I recommend this with all of my clients before I take on any clients or before I launch into anything myself. It's really important to plan what it is that you want and to visualize what you want out of anything that you're undertaking, and get physically, mentally, get ready to it so you're not being dragged by your heels. So when you're ready to go, you're ready to go.
Right. So then the next thing is follow a lifestyle and not a trend. So this is like Keila was mentioning before, this isn't a quick, fix all for January. This is going to take you through the whole year. And, there's all kinds of trend diets out there. I swear they just keep renaming them, like the Atkins, the Paleo, the Kinko. I'm pretty sure it's all, is it Kinko?
Keto. Which totally has its place. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities and refinements. And it's very easy to get caught up in the hype of buying another $50 book and doing it and then getting fed up.
Right. So yes, we're going to be Kinko. I think that's a board game.
Kinko, that's an old print place, like Xerox.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Staples.
So yeah, it gets easier also. So, anytime you're taking on new habits, the first, couple days, first 2 weeks, it always seems hard, overwhelmed. You're saying goodbye to your favorite foods, perhaps. Getting into a new habit is always hard, but it gets easier a little bit every day. So just always keep that in mind. And the more the merrier. So find a support system, whether you do this with your partner, a coworker, get someone that, your daughter, your kids, whatever, sister, that you can kind of lean on each other and you can inspire each other. Something that I think is super fun is have a little cooking party and make it part of your prep day. So, you get together, you make stuff, you got stuff that goes in your freezer, and, you had some, community time, chatting time.
So Trena was just sharing with me before we started our call today what her slow cooker Sunday looks like. And we were talking about my flavor day. And I think this is one of the best, most important, valuable things you can do for your health is to prioritize what you're eating. And you don't have to love cooking. You can just bust it out. But you're telling me this really cute story about how you make your slow cooker Sunday flavor day happen with a baby in the house.
Yes.
So what does that look like?
So basically I just put him in his high chair and I pull him right up to the counter. I throw some music on and I give him his little cookies that he likes. And I dance and I sing and he loves it. The process is a little bit slower because I have to do some entertaining while I'm cooking, but it is honestly, and some of the best times. Like, it's so much fun. And if you guys have kids, I suggest doing the same, like throw some music on, do some kitchen dancing and make it fun.
That's awesome. I know in our house, if my husband's cooking with me, which he does much of the time, it's our time to just catch up in the week. We both run businesses, so it's nice to have that downtime when you're working together for something. Or if he's not, I put on a podcast and I listen to something so that my brain's active and it just becomes like a wellness Sunday. It's kind of awesome.
So the next thing is like no shame in this game. So, if you fall off the rails a little bit, you went out on Friday night, you had a little too much to drink, a little too much to eat, don't shame yourself for that. It's okay. It happens to everyone. And, every day is a new beginning to start again. So look at it that way, but be mindful of how your body feels after you eat all those things, drink all those things. And, as you go forward, you're probably not going to want to do that anymore because you realize how you felt the next day or how you may have been constipated or, what have you. So, if you do fall off the tracks a little bit, just notice what your body is telling you afterwards.
I'm a little bit more blunt than Trena. Often what I will say to my clients is if you know that one particular food hurts you, if it's gluten or if it's dairy, but you just can't resist it and you know how you react, it's like you consciously stabbing yourself in the foot. You know what's going to happen if you eat that thing and you know that you're stabbing yourself in the foot. So do you want to stab yourself in the foot? Sure. It's your call. But we all fall off the track from time to time. And again, the holidays are prime for that, but we should also mindfully decide when we are going to go off track and not be guilty about it, but also mindfully choose what we are eating and foods that make us feel better and stronger and not beholden to illness.
And then the last thing I have is jumpstart your progress. So, it's great to start these new habits, but also give yourself a little bit of a boost at the beginning. to inspire you. So, you know, we're going to talk about that in the next slide.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this. Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
That is one of my favorite. I don't know if it was like, someone said it. I should know because it's like one of my favorite quotes. And I want to say it's the supermodel who does Runway, Project Runway. Heidi Klum. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's Heidi Klum, guys.
All right, wonderful. I love that. So I'm going to talk a wee bit about cleanses versus detoxes because I hear these words all the time in my practice. And as a health ninja, a lot of what I'm reading is about health. So when I hear the word cleanse, this means very different things to different people. And in my mind, I hear cleanse, I think something that's kind of short term, something that's almost aggressive, where we're trying to force the body to act in a very specific way. And a lot of the products that I'm seeing coming off of a shelf, whether it's a detox kit or it's something like that, it's prescribed for a very specific amount of time and it makes your body act in a specific way. So for example, a lot of these products are very heavy on laxatives. And yeah, you may feel better if you're pooping, if you're really constipated, or people think it works better if you're like living in the bathroom. And I don't think that's ever really a good idea, certainly not in my practice. And sometimes the benefit of these things is that they are encouraging cleaner eating where we're staying away from the processed stuff. That's never a bad idea. There's often, again, a lot of the focus on the colon, but as we'll talk about shortly, the colon is just one area that we want to be focusing on for your overall well-being. And many of these aren't necessarily medically supervised, which is not the end all and be all, but for those of us that have very specific health issues, whether it's heartburn or irritable bowel syndrome or depression or insomnia or skin issues like psoriasis, it goes a little bit deeper than a week-long thing. We want to be absolutely working with a professional that is supportive of natural changes, but is also very knowledgeable in how to tweak that for you. So detox is a word that we often hear a little bit more. And detoxification essentially is what our body is doing every single day, 24/7, to keep us running and keep us living. So a detox as a program can be short or long-term, but it often is a program to help your body do what it's already doing, but encourage it and facilitate it to take out the trash. And really, it should focus on all of the organs of elimination. The 5 main ways that our body does take out the trash, and that is our liver, our kidneys, our colon, our lungs, and our skin. So these are things that I work on with my clients every single day, and if we are embarking on a detox type program, it's absolutely individualized, and we're working on all of these elements and really dietary and lifestyle changes most importantly. So these certainly can be medically supervised. There are some that are not, but this is something that I often use in my practice and can be quite useful. So there is also this concept of a reset, which is what we are going to be diving into a little bit more today. But before we do that, I have another question that I want to be asking you guys here. What are your health goals for the new year? I'm going to share this with you. And again, if you can humor Trena and I about what your goals are for the new year, if you are comfortable sharing. I know for myself, as I alluded to earlier, it is to prioritize sleep and having that consistent bedtime waking time so that we can have energy and focus throughout the day and year and can everything follow from there.
For me, it would be the workout routine. I used to work out quite regularly, and I feel like, well, I'm making excuses, but I feel like I don't have the time. And I'd really like to get back to the gym. So, or even just to a yoga class or something. Which
is, again, very Hough at this time of year.
Yes.
It's very January. It's very yin, where we're moving slower, we're moving mindfully, we're aware of our body, versus I'm going to train for a half marathon and sweat my guts out on a treadmill in a hot, stinky gym.
Hot yoga.
Hot yoga is wonderful at this time of year. All right, so it's looking like the majority of us are weighted towards weight loss and gaining energy and just prioritizing your health in general, which is wonderful. Thank you again for humoring us. So I'll just share those results for you for a quick sec. And okay, so here's how Trena and I personally do it. Today we're focusing on getting back on track and more of a reset. We all know, anyone tuning in, and Trena and I both know, working in the health sphere, that taking 3 days is not going to fix a lifetime of choices that don't help us. But anytime that we do take the time to prioritize our health, to clean up how we are eating and what we're putting in and on our body, how our brains are working, what kind of thoughts we're thinking, and to put our health on at least the top 3 of our priority list, it's never a waste. So here are a couple signs that we could use a reset. And again, we're talking reset as opposed to a detox or cleanse or some get rich quick, get healthy quick scheme. If you are dependent on coffee or sugar or wine or fill in the blank any substance and you need it to go to the bathroom, or you can't get through the day without a couple treats, if it's salty, crunchy, something from a bag, if it's gummy things, if it's chocolate, or if you've got a skinny and fat wardrobe, or suddenly your clothes aren't feeling the same, even if the scale is saying the same thing. If you have a food baby, bloat, after eating, this is often a sign of irritable bowel syndrome or bacterial overgrowth within the body, and something that I work with very often in my practice. It's never a normal thing. If you're noticing skin issues, if you've got acne and you're a teen, or you're definitely past your teenage years, or maybe you have rosacea or psoriasis, this is almost always related to the digestive system and the food that we are eating. If you've got weird rashes that are showing up on your face or body, I can tell you right now that it's not a steroid or anti-itch cream deficiency, although it can help. It's about what's causing these things. Or you take an absolute nosedive with your energy in the afternoon, or you need a treat or caffeine to get through. If you got migraines or tension headaches that are happening more than once a month, and you've been seeing your massage therapist all the time and it's still not getting better, this can absolutely be due to food. You turn into a absolute dragon lady before your period, you've got awful cramps, maybe you've got hot flashes, or menopause is not treating you well. Again, this can be related to digestion and the food you're eating, and you could probably benefit from a reset. And finally, if you've got insomnia, particularly if you wake sometime in the 1 to 3 a.m. time zone. In Chinese medicine, 1 to 3 a.m. is the time most active for the liver. And the liver, as we've talked about, or will talk about, is about organizing and sorting and processing stuff in the body and detoxifying. So if it's often that time, you may have an issue that we want to address. Or if you're exhausted in the morning, or it takes you a decent amount of time to fall asleep, there's very likely some issues there that we can sort out. So how many of these sound like you or someone you know? Can we get a yes or a comment in the group chat box here? Rose, perfect. Okay, couple more people. Okay, excellent. Nice. Lots. Well, it's not nice, but we aim to show them how we can get some improvement there. Yeah, it's all of us from time to time, absolutely. And these symptoms and these signs are just a way of our body trying to communicate with us that something's off, and it's like tugging on your sleeve to say, hey, pay attention, until suddenly our body tries to smack us upside the head to say, really, pay attention. Awesome, thank you again. So what the heck is going on with my body? I want to challenge all of you to just take a step back right now, because I may share something that is a little bit different than how you're used to looking at illness and disease. So when I'm working with a client in front of me, I'm not just seeing the acne and the irritable bowel syndrome and the headaches and the anxiety and the depression and the brain fog and the fill in the blank. We're looking at a big picture here. And one way to think of it is picturing your body, your overall health, like a big bucket or a lemonade dispenser in this case. And into the bucket that is your body, we're putting in food, whether it's good food, organic food, crap food, whatever, the birth control, the antacids, the Tylenol, any supplements you're taking, lipstick from the drugstore or a natural healthy cleanser that's edible, pesticides. We do live in a rural area, and that's a reality of life. The gas fumes as you're pumping your gas. Personally, I just finished a bunch of renovations in my house, so there can be a lot of off-gassing from paints and carpets and all paint thinner and things like that. The water that we drink. So we are very lucky in this part of the world to have access to clean water, but there can be other issues with the water as well. Are we drinking bottled water, tap water, filtered water, spring fed? It all makes a difference. The chemicals, the heavy metals, the electromagnetic frequencies, the stress, the everything that we're dealing with. All of it's okay in that our body should be able to handle this normally. Our body has to fund a reaction and be able to process everything we're throwing at it. And we're pretty good at it for the most part. So to keep us from overflowing, it's like we've got this little release valve or this spigot in this lemonade jar. And this spigot helps us take out the trash. And this is via our organs of elimination that I mentioned earlier. So our liver is really quite important. It acts like the oil filter in a car to help us organize and sort and process everything that we're putting in. And it tells our kidneys and colon how to take out the trash. So our kidneys take care of all the water-soluble stuff that we no longer need. This is often where some medications get processed out. And this is why it's really critical that we drink enough water. We can't take out the water-soluble garbage if we don't have water to move that along. So one way to test, your urine should be a very slight yellow. If it's clear all the time, you may be drinking a little bit too much and you may be adding a little bit more stress on your kidneys than you need. And unless you are taking B vitamins and a multivitamin or a good B complex, it should never be bright or dark yellow. It should not be brown. It shouldn't be stinky. You need to up your water if that's
that
the
happened
case.
to me once, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh, you got a good B complex. Your urine is like a nightlight. It glows, and that's normal, but it filters out throughout the rest of the day if you're drinking enough water. And then our colon. We often focus a lot on the health of our digestive system. But our colon's job is to take out the bulk, the fat-soluble waste that our kidneys cannot handle. We also eliminate dead bacteria and waste products from our body and the remnants of food. And it's essential that this is working properly. So normal is not normal like most people, but optimal healthy colon health. We should be having a bowel movement 1 to 3 times per day. Essentially, anytime you're putting food in, you should be making some room. And a healthy bowel movement, a healthy poop should be easy. You should maybe feel a little something in your lower left abdomen before it happens. You go into the bathroom. It's quick. It's easy. There's no forcing, no straining, no blood, no mucus, no undigested food unless it's corn. And you should feel like a boss afterwards. It should feel good. And if it's not, then we need to address that. And the answer there is not just laxative after laxative, it's addressing why that's happening. And that's something that I do every single day. And lung health. It's very easy to ignore the lungs and the skin, but they are so important. The lungs control the pH in our blood via exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide within the lung cells. So this is really easy. Even something as simple as a good breathing exercise regulates the amount of oxygen that you are getting into your body. And many of us have found that if we're working away at our desk or we're feeling stressed out, we get that shallow chest breathing. We're not breathing effectively. We're not getting that oxygen. And that in and of itself becomes stressful on the body and feeds into that anxiety loop. And we also want to be conscious of getting enough fresh air. And I know it's tough at this time of year when the cold kind of burns your lungs, but you want fresh air. You want to be able to open up your lungs so you're not breathing in that recycled indoor office air all the time and getting yourself sick. And then our skin. Our skin is the biggest organ that we have, and it's a huge surface area to absorb the lotions that we're putting in, to absorb things, to absorb and interact with the clothing we have on our skin. And we release stuff through here by sweating and shedding our skin cells. So anything that we're putting into our body or on our body or around our body, our body has to process and do something with. And we take out the trash by exhaling and sweating and our urine and our stool. And I think you guys get the picture. So normally our body's pretty darn good at doing that until we aren't. Sometimes we just can't quite keep up. And this is like that spigot or that spout overflowing and getting clogged. Suddenly what we can handle, we can't, and this bucket or this jar overflows. And that's where we tend to get symptoms, whether it's bloating or pain, muscle aches, fatigue, PMS, acne for sure, constipation, heartburn, parasites, anxiety, brain fog, fill in the blank, food sensitivities. So this is where I ask you to be a little bit more open-minded, in that it's not necessarily about the heartburn. It's not necessarily that you have joint pain or that you have acne or a random skin itch. It is, why is this bucket overflowing? Why are you having these symptoms? And why isn't your body able to take out the trash enough to avoid you getting these things? So typically in mainstream medicine, we're really good for the most part at managing symptoms. You've got an itch, let's give you a corticosteroid cream to reduce the itch. You've got pain, let's take Tylenol to reduce the inflammation. You've got constipation, we're going on Miralax or Dulcolax or some other kind of laxative. But that's like giving you a bigger and a bigger and a bigger bucket. It's kind of like being a hoarder and moving to a bigger house.
Oh, good. Yeah,
but we need to get rid of the stuff. We need to get rid of the stuff. We need to be able to properly take out the trash. So a good reset or detoxification or any undertaking with a healthcare practitioner should focus on, first of all, let's stop putting so much crap in the bucket. Let's help your body handle it better so that we're not getting this bucket overflowing. And your body really is a miracle. We work really hard all day to keep us going in spite of all that we throw at it. We have more checks and balances in our body to keep us going. And the fact that we are living and breathing and still alive at any point in a day itself is a miraculous thing. Very few of us are given lemons as a body, and the stuff that we throw at us, it's amazing that we function as well as we do. But when we have those overflow symptoms, that's like saying we need to address that. So we got to listen to that. So what are your options if you're noticing that the bucket is overflowing? If you spend a bunch of time reading online and piecing together all these protocols and spending a bunch of money on supplements and kits and 3 a.m. infomercials to try and fix it, you could. I mean, we've all done that from time to time, but
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google. Oh, Dr. Google keeps me in business because it rarely fixes anything. Do we do a juice cleanse for 3 days to fix it all? To undo 30 years worth of stuff? You could. Do we buy a detox kit off the shelf with no medical follow-up and maybe hang out in the bathroom for 3 days? You could do it. I don't think it's going to help. Do you eat real food and hope that it helps? You definitely could. That's actually a really good idea. But what if you still have some lingering issues? Then we need to dive a little bit deeper. Do you try and figure it out with a buddy? Well, you know, research has repeatedly shown that working out with a friend or embarking on a food change with a friend or having someone to be accountable with, whether it's a partner, a friend, or a mentor, or a health coach, or a health professional, people tend to get much better results than if they're going it alone. And I think there's a lot of value in community. So again, one more question for you guys. Thank you for, again, humoring us. How many of you have ever done a food reset before yourself? How many of you have ever tried a program to lose weight or to feel better or to lose the bloat? And if so, what was it? So personally, I am a health junkie, so I have tried pretty much everything and have learned different things from all of it. I've tended to do really well with the paleo, Whole30, and ketogenic approach in the past. Even an elimination diet or food reset can go a long way. What's been your experience, Trena?
I was like a trender. I was jumping from trend to trend. I have done 3-day juice fasts. I have done the lemon cayenne master cleanse.
Oh my goodness.
I stuck that out for like 10 days.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
It was an experience. I was running to the washroom quite regularly. And then when it was all said and done, I mean, I was no further ahead. I had just put myself through, 10 days of a nightmare, basically.
That makes me cry a little bit.
I did lose weight, but as soon as I went off of it all came right back. So.
Right. And I know there's a real feeling of almost vulnerability and helplessness. Like, I got to do something when you're not feeling good and you're exhausted. And it's often not just about the weight. It's like we saw earlier, the fatigue and the joint pain and the mentally feeling really foggy. So I think at this time of year, many of us are feeling kind of vulnerable or prone to jumping into something without necessarily researching it and hoping that this next thing fixes it. And sometimes it does. Sometimes we luck out and find that way of doing things and eating that really works for our body and our physiology. But I tend to be, and I think you'll agree with me, more in the camp of what works for you.
Absolutely.
But before we jump into anything, one thing that I always go through with my clients, I see a Candida cleanser here, is getting a good sense of what your goals are. I mean, is it to lose weight or clear up your skin or figure out food sensitivities or do something different? I mean, this differs for everybody, but before you embark on anything, if you embark on anything, I think it's really important to take some time, and as we plan out our food, the very same way, plan out what it is that we want for our health, for our life over the next couple of months. And very rarely do I get somebody coming into my office saying, I want healthier mitochondria. It's usually, I'm exhausted and I'm eating too much chocolate and drinking too much wine because I'm pissed off and irritable and exhausted. And if your goal is just to lose the weight, to what purpose? Is it so that you have more energy to play with your kids, or that you can start that side business, or have clear, glowy skin so that you look younger than your age and feel more like the you that you know is there? These are very different things. So we need to get pretty damn clear on what your goals are if you're going to have any hope in hell of success. So why do you want to reset? Is it because we were eating like crap over the holidays? Or is this part of the natural cycle of feasting and then resetting? Do you want a head start on a treatment plan? Maybe you're considering seeing a nutritionist or a chiropractor or a naturopathic doctor like myself and want to get your money's worth and do some work ahead of time. That's a very valid reason. Are you planning for children? Are you planning for a healthy and active retirement? Or you just want a nudge while you're feeling some momentum at this time of year? So think about it. So Trena and we're excited to work on this and share together with you what we're learning and how we actually make this happen. Because to both of us, food is more than just calories or cutting out what you're eating and having less of it, or something you do because it's 6 o'clock and you got to get the kids off somewhere. Food is information. It is how our body communicates with us. And this information is more than just the calories or how much magnesium and B vitamins are in the food. It is also the energy and the intention with which you eat it. We all know we've had that experience where you're eating that homemade apple pie full of butter and gluten and all the things that someone close to you made. And it feels good because it's made with love. And you're eating it with this intention of feeling nurtured. And then we've all done that before, where we maybe go out to an expensive dinner and we have a fight over dinner and you just lose your appetite and it sits heavy and you bloat and you feel gross. So it's the information that your body's getting, not just what you're eating, but how and when and what you think you're going to get from that. That tells our body how to respond and whether or not that bucket is going to overflow or not. And eating well, as we alluded to, along with cooking for yourself, is one of the most important things that you can do for your health, because it gives you control. It allows you to select and choose the information that you are sending to your body. As we mentioned before too, food can be community. Food can be happy memories. Food can be family building. Relationships start over food. Relationships can end over food. Food is one of the most important things to attend to. And something else that you may have picked up on in this slide and the last slide is that we are picturing a lot of hot, delicious looking soups at this time of year, which again, January, it's a cold, dark time. We want to be warming up our body gently and not challenging it too much. So if what we're making so far tonight, what we're discussing makes sense so far, here's the payoff. What Trena and I have been working on so diligently over the last couple of weeks is how to simplify things for you. We know that your lives are busy, our lives are busy, and it's important to eat well and to prioritize your well-being, but have it not create more stress within your life. So what we've been working on is a way to get you started. Not fix everything, but started so that you can get some good traction into the rest of your goals. Because we all know that when you are eating well and your energy is improving and you're feeling stronger and more capable, you're able to do more things. You're able to achieve whatever those goals are that you've set for yourself for this year. And you are, or not set for yourself, but just feel better. So tell us a little about, before we show them, what it is that we've cooked up.
Yes, so it is 2 programs that we've created, and we've done them to kind of match your lifestyle, match your budget, and they are designed to help you feel energized, help you feel full,
and take a lot of the guesswork out of where the heck do I start, as everyone is pitching you idea after idea without any follow-up, without any community around this. And one thing that we intentionally decided to focus on for this year is building this community and this tribe of people that are actively supporting each other and absolutely in your corner. I mean, if last year was the year of controversy and dividing people, we want this year to be the year of community and support. So hopefully that makes sense to all of you here today. So tell us a little bit more about our programs here, Trena.
Yes. So as I mentioned, there's 2 programs. They are designed to be taken over 10 days. With Keila and I supporting. There's going to be a support group on Facebook, and there's going to be resources, recipes, a lot of the guesswork taken out, and warming foods, which I think is important. Keila and I both agree that at this time of year, a juice cleanse is not going to happen.
You don't want to be cold, dead, and empty inside.
Right, exactly.
You want to feel warm and powerful and strong.
So we've included a lot of wholesome foods, like sweet potatoes, like lots of spices, cayenne pepper, ginger, things that are going to make you feel, full of energy and warm. So,
and I think the coolest thing about this that I'm so proud of is that it's about showing you how you can make this work within your life. And Trena and I are absolutely committed to working with you to help tweak this so that it makes sense for you, whatever your week looks like, whatever your goals are like, so that you can powerfully launch into the rest of your year. And the aim is to simplify this stuff.
Yes, make it easy.
So we've got you covered, needless to say. And this is the first time we are launching this program. So you are, that are listening, are first set here, and you get the first crack at it. And we are absolutely welcoming feedback. And the cart opens now. So our first program, I absolutely love. Tell us a wee bit more about it.
So we're calling the first program the DIY Reboot. And that is because the first 3 days are a meal plan that you are going to get along with a shopping list, and you're going to go home and make your own meals. So for the person who commented that they hate to cook, this might not be the best decision for
but
you.
But if you're a self-starter, this is awesome.
Exactly. We're going to also include an e-recipe book that's going to have a lot of those, warming meals that I was talking about, and that you can make and eat with your family, and they're going to leave you feeling full and energized. And then, as we mentioned, we have the Facebook group where Keila and I are going to be sharing our tips and tricks and support. We'll have resources there, daily conversations to keep you motivated and inspired throughout this entire journey.
Awesome. And then, so we're valuing at this. It's worth much more than this, but 150, but we're deciding to retail it for 95 plus HST, which is fantastic. You don't have to think. You just follow the instructions so that you can focus on jumping back into the chaos that is January, but feeling good. And with the additional support of both Trena and myself. One other thing that I wanted to highlight with this program and the next one, we are including a 15-minute complimentary health discovery session with myself. And the purpose of this is really to help you clarify and set your goals for the year. And if there are specific health issues, I can absolutely help you troubleshoot either of these programs so that it really works for you and you are getting the best leverage out of our time together. And then the second program I just think is just awesome. This we are calling our ultimate 10-day reboot. And this is like the perfect go-to if you hate cooking, if you just want to have someone take care of you, but you want to be feeling well. So tell us about what we cooked up here.
Yes, so this one basically is going to be 3 days of meals prepared for you, delivered to your door. You are going to have cold pressed juice right from our store daily, along with soups, some quinoa salads, like nice warming things. Everything will be taken care of for you for those 3 days. And then that will follow into days 4 to 10 of the e-recipe book with those, warming meals. And then again with the Keila, the discovery session.
So you get a ton of support with both programs. And absolutely, I do encourage all of you to book in a session with me to clarify our goals, whether or not you decide to jump in on either of these programs, but definitely take an advantage of this if you do. And oh gosh, I love this idea that someone would come to your house with everything you need to eat so you can just autopilot and focus on how you're feeling and get some other shit done. So I think this is the coolest. So this is $320 value, but we are retailing this for $240 plus tax for 10 days of food. The 3 days are absolutely everything's cooked for you and made and coming to your house.
Really, I like to call the 3 day a jump start. That's just sets you up perfectly.
That's awesome. So you don't have to hang out too much in the kitchen for those 3 days. So we are starting and getting our game faces on Wednesday, January the 10th. And the whole goal, as we mentioned, is to really simplify your first week back into real life, make it healthier so you can get off to a great, strong start for 2018. Now, for those of you that are listening live to the call and are interested in either of these programs, we've got a special offer for you. But we'll hold off on that for just a sec. We are accepting applicants to both of these programs, but spots are very limited. Yes. The reason we're limiting is because we are committed to giving you as much of ourselves as we can during this 10-day time. That's answering your questions, that's troubleshooting, that's tweaking. If you're coming to see me for a health discovery session, that's really helping to clarify your goals, answering your questions in your Facebook group. So what I've got here is a link to our sales page, and it's the pulp.ca/10-day-reboot.html, and I'm going to be sending that in our chat box right here, and you can check that out. And
there's also a link from the homepage on the Pulp.
Yeah.
So you don't have to type in all the 10 dash. You can just go to the pulp.ca, and there's a little button there that will take you to this page.
Awesome. So we will be sending this along as well. And for those of you that are interested in signing up, the cart does close on Monday evening, so Monday the 8th. But if you joined us today and have stuck it out this far, we are offering a special bonus. And I think this is also really cool.
Yes. So I decided to include this into the program because I know life is busy. And, you know, you're going to get, if you're a busy mom, you're whatever, you can just come into the Pulp. You'll get 2 bowls and 2 large smoothies. You can use them at any time. So it's just going to help make things a little bit smoother when you're, you know, short on time. And it's a $35 value that we're offering for people who are on the call live today.
And what can you expect from a bowl for those people that don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. So our bowls, they come on either rice or quinoa, which is served warm. And then we top them with kind of raw ingredients, and we put a sauce on them. So we've got 7 different kinds. They're sort of, you know, themed worldly, if you will. We have a Peruvian bowl, a Buddha, which comes with a peanut sauce, which is very popular. Ooh. Yeah. We have an Olympus, which is sort of, you know, a take on a Greek salad. And one of our most popular ones is a Canuck, which has a maple balsamic dressing with cashews.
Oh, gosh. So again, I mentioned earlier that I love the Pulp for those days when I just don't feel like making lunch, but I need something quick and on the go. Maybe you're running errands and you don't want to resort to the fast food that you know makes you feel like you're stabbing yourself in the foot. So for those of you that are on the call that want to sign up, this additional Pulp meal card for $35 is available only until midnight tonight for live listeners only. So anyone listening to the recording, this is unfortunately not an option, but the cart does stay open till Monday. So I know that we've thrown a ton of information at all of you, and we're grateful that you've all stayed this long. And I just want you to ask yourself, what would happen for you if you could gain this kind of valuable information about your body in only a few days? What would happen for you if you could feel like you can get throughout your day without being dependent on sugar, alcohol, caffeine, or fill in the blank gummy candies?
Gummies.
And I mean, what could happen if you could feel like a better version of yourself after overcoming the holiday overeating? Or if you could have structure in your meal planning and know that when you come home after a long day, you've got food in your fridge that works for you, and you've got a game plan so that you're simplifying your life and moving the heck on with it and not wasting hours and money and time and energy on food that you don't actually like.
Mm-hmm. Feeling bad about it after.
Which doesn't help.
No.
And if you had the research proven benefits of working within a team or a community of people that actually care about how you are doing and having 2 professionals on your side to answer your questions so you're not going it alone. That kind of sounds cool. So doors close at midnight, January 8th, no exceptions. The link is right here. But again, if you sign up by midnight tonight through the booking page, which we will put in the chat box, we will absolutely make sure that we get that gift card to you. And we are excited. We've planned a few different things for the program live so that you can get the best value out of that. And we're closing them at midnight on January the 8th because we want to make sure that we've got time to prep and to actually prepare the food for you and give you time before we start on the 10th to read through our guides and to get yourself prepared for the cooking portion if you're going to do it yourself option, and to get your head in the game so that you get the most value out of this time. So that's it for us for the main part of our presentation, but Trena and I are absolutely happy to stick around, answer any questions that you have. If you'd like to type them in the chat box, we are here. And again, we're so grateful that you spent your Thursday evening with us listening live on a cold, cold day. We know your time is valuable, and we would like to help you make the most of that so you can go out and be a total boss in 2018.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Trena?
I don't think so. I think we did a good job.
Okay, excellent. Any questions, folks? We're going to hang out for about 10 minutes here, and we're going to make sure that we are putting the the link in the box here. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Kim and Tracy. I'm excited to have you both on here tonight. That's wonderful. Thanks, Kate. Wonderful. One thing while you guys are here and milling about and deciding how you want to go, and I really do hope that a lot of you do take advantage of this, because man, I would so love to have people delivering food to my house in Stratford. Like, I know that's a thing in the GTA, but people delivering food to your house in Stratford, like that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It's that it's not about a New Year's resolution. It's about setting an intention for yourself, and that I see this every day. When you have your health, you can do anything. When your health is what is holding you back because you're sick and tired and unwell, it makes it harder to do anything else. So we've got a question here about the ultimate program, the delivery option available for those who live outside of town.
Yes, we can make it work in St. Mary's. Absolutely.
So we're primarily focusing in Stratford, but
yep.
what's our radius look like, Trena?
So we can kind of do St. Mary's. I'm not really good with the towns around here. The next one.
Anywhere that's going to be Shakespeare for sure.
Shakespeare, yes. Yeah.
Anywhere that's kind of within a 15-20 minute driving range. And Trena will absolutely work with you this is something that you want to do, to make it work for you. So I'm so excited, Erin, that that's something that you're interested in. And what else have you noticed? What else can we tell our listeners about our programs, or anything else that we talked about today?
I don't know, you put me on the spot.
So one thing that we actually didn't talk about,
the link. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to send the link along here, Kim. One thing that we didn't talk about earlier today, but we mentioned at the start of the program, is resetting if you've got a bit of a bloat. So one of my absolute favorite things to do, if you know that you've overeaten and you've mindfully set that intention that you're going to eat something, peppermint tea. You want a really good peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is what we call a carminative. So it helps your body to relax, to unwind, to get rid of any extra gas. And my absolute favorite peppermint tea, you can get it almost anywhere, but my favorite one in town here is at Distinctly Tea.
I love that store.
It is the best. It just smells so good. I find that, we're trying to type here and talk. I find that one, they have it in tea bags and they have it in loose leaf. It travels really well. I don't do traveling without it because it just works just in case you're eating something that is not wonderful for you. So that should be the link. If someone wants to test that and then write in the chat box back if that link works, maybe I typed it properly, that'd be awesome. Peppermint tea is fantastic. The other thing that I find we really want to pay attention to with what we are eating is also the how we are eating. So often with my clients, I talk about food hygiene, this concept of how we eat. And we're not just talking about not putting raw chicken breast on the counter. It's our habits around how we eat. And if food is information, the context in which we eat is also information. So when you want to sit down and eat, you want it to be a little bit like a seduction. You want to be thinking about it. You want to get your mind going. You want to get physically ready. And when you do sit down to eat, you want to be excited. You don't want to just jump in. You want to be excited, and that's what you're doing. You want to slow down and chew your food. Skip the extra liquids with your foods as well. It makes it easier to digest if that's just what you're doing. So we will absolutely be sharing more of our favorite tips and things that work in our Facebook groups with our live videos and things like that as part of the program as well. So can anybody double check this link and make sure that it is working for us? Maybe I just checked that right here. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shirley and Nahed. I think this is a great idea too, and we are so excited that you spent your evening with us. All right, so I am, oh no, that link is not what we need it to be. Let's try and figure this out. Okay, perfect. We are just going to try and figure out what's going on with this link. It's probably something
Keila,
silly.
just maybe put the main page.
The Pulp?
Yeah, just the pulp.ca.
Okay,
and
yeah.
then there's a link on there with a button that will take you to the page. So
okay, perfect. So
it's a little easier.
Yeah, I think so. The pulp.ca.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can everyone see this? There. Thanks, Shirley. Right at the top here, this ultimate 10-day reboot. And there's this great big bright red learn more button right here. And here we are talking a little bit more about our programs. So we've got a link to PayPal so you can pay with debit or credit, totally secure. If you have any extra questions after we leave the webinar, you can write in at the bottom and one of us will get back to you as soon as we're able to. So we can check out securely. And I will be sending out a recording of our show or talk, our event tonight.
I like it. It's a show.
It's a show. It's kind of like a two-person comedy show. And then our Start Your Detox guide from me and Trena's wonderful fridge post-it.
Yeah. You know what?
Eating guide.
You can always laminate it and then you can just write and wipe.
Write and wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic idea. I would totally use that. That looks awesome. So I'm going to repost this into our group here in case anyone's having trouble with that. That works. Look at that.
No, there, it even made it blue.
Yeah, making it blue. All right, ladies, thank you. And any gentlemen that are on the call, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. It was a pleasure. And please do let us know how we can simplify your January so you can go out and do awesome, cool, interesting things for 2018, feeling healthier and happier and stronger.
Yep. And don't forget, if you have any other questions that you just want to send Keila or myself later, just do so at the bottom of the page.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Have another cup of tea before bed. And hopefully we'll be in touch with many of you guys soon. So good night.
Bye-bye.